Hey, Bruce Reba here, author of Freedom's Quest on Amazon and Woodpecker Sci-Fi on Kindle Vella. A few words about my upcoming book. It's about Space Center technicians during the shuttle program. And there was weird times. Anyway, one time during this shuttle program, the government came out and mandated that all the companies do continuous improvement. And it was a good idea. I volunteered for a class, training class, and then our department came up with several projects. By the way, continuous improvement was never easy. Personality conflicts, well, I can go into the problems, but it turned out that we had a project to replace the fiber optic cables between the launch pads and the launch control center. They had gone bad, and NASA wanted to see a better way than what had been done. So we came up with a better process, and indeed we got the cables done. And then they started having competitions on base, continuous improvement competitions, and it was between all the different companies on Space Center. And lo and behold, we ended up entering several and winning them. And one of our secret weapons was we had a couple of guys who loved to speak in front of people. And we had a couple of guys who could write very well. And then also we had done some pretty good work as a team on this project. So, we won the Space Center competition. Well, we won the one competition, and then they changed the format. And this company came in from off base, Cape Canaveral, and they had their own format on how continuous improvement should be done. And also the state of Florida followed the same format. So we had to change things. So they needed judges. Well, I volunteered. I'm not a good speaker, as you might have figured. But so I volunteered to be a judge and get out of the speaking part. And I got down to the judging school in Cape Canaveral and went through the criteria and went, wow, we're missing stuff. So I went back, I talked to our main writer and said, we need the information we didn't add because it could be boring. No one wants to hear about fish charts and brainstorming. But this competition format did. And if I remember right, it was roughly 38 questions, 4 points each. It went something like, if you mention it, you got 1 point. If you mentioned the subject criteria, you got 1 point. And then if you really get into it, you get the full 4. And then 0 if you didn't get it. Well, first the base competition. So we jumped into the format. We fixed our presentation, and then the other groups on the Space Center didn't. So we went to this competition and on Kennedy Space Center, and there was several groups that were favored to win. They'd saved a ton of money. One was the Orbiter Processing Facility team. They saved money on training, and then another one was the tugboat that used to go out to sea and bring in the space shuttle booster rockets. They came up with a $10 million savings, and we didn't do all that much. We did improve the fiber between the pads, but all in all, I wasn't impressed by our efforts. So competition started, and they brought in a judge from off base, the judge who probably wrote the judging criteria. And just so happened that we followed it. We had followed that criteria, aced it, and to the dismay of a lot of highly educated people, we won. And then we went off base. Cape Canaveral, we had a competition between all the private businesses in the county, and lo and behold, we won that too. And we did have some good speakers. And then we had to go to Disney World and for the state finals competition. And here we're just, some lowly technicians, and we're going into the state finals. And it was pretty intimidating. And so our manager gave us a lot of practice time. And that's where things went to hell. Okay, so we improved installing the fiber optic cable to the launch pads. Well, one of the things we did is we improved the lubrication in the conduits during the polling process. So, because we're guys, during our practices, when we read our practice words out loud, we would start joking about lubricant injector. And in a very crude way. And as a matter of fact, in an extremely crude manner that you could not ever be in a mixed company about the lubricant injector. And it's funny. We got the speeches final, practice final. Disney came up. It was a whole paid week at Disney. On the company paid the whole time. We were paid for the rooms, the food, the competition, and so just to be real short, we came up to our competition day in front of 1,000 people. I was a judge. And I already kind of figured we were missing a couple points, by my opinion, on the judging criteria. But anyway, as we were running, as the competition started, and I was judging the groups, finally our team, the Space Center team, came up on stage, and our speakers started running through their lines. Like I said, it all went to hell. Our primary speaker was talking about the lubricant injector, and what he did was he said the word lubricant injector, and he put an inflection on those two words. Nothing crude, just an inflection, and then he halted, paused, and smiled in front of 1,000 people, which just happened to be a whole lot of middle-aged ladies. And I'm pretty sure not a single one of them enjoyed his pause and smile. And as a matter of fact, later on, one of the ladies who organized the event, I was sitting at a table eating a cookie and drinking a cup of coffee, and she came and told me as much. So it's like, all right, well, we're not going to win. But in reality, we didn't win because we didn't have all the questions answered. They wanted a question. The question was supposed to be like, how did you pick your project? Our project was picked because NASA told us to do it. What the judges really wanted to see was the charts that showed where there was a flaw in your process that made you had to pick that project. and we were missing that, or we had short on points, those points. And so we ended up coming in second place, but we were pretty happy, pretty proud. The guy who spid the lubricant injector inflections was crushed. Hey, Bruce Reba out.